Hello team, welcome to this tutorial of today. My name is Samson Anami, a software engineer. So right now I want to share with you guys something. So I had this question from my younger sister who was trying to figure out her way out of being a software developer. And first, let me start from this for the beginners and those who are trying out or who are coming into software engineering. I want you to understand one thing, that software engineering has a lot of careers around it. So you just don't need to be a software developer, back-end developer, or a front-end developer, or a full-stack developer. Those are the three areas that a lot of guys know. There's a number or multiple or a chunk of a lot of roles within software engineering. So for example, you can go with me here. I want to help you look at all the roadmaps within all these areas, and then understand that there is a lot of roles within software engineering. So like as you can see here, we have front end, back end, full stack, there's DevOps, there's data analyst, there's AI engineer, there's AI data scientist, there's data engineer, there's a lot, there's Android engineer, there's even database engineers, there's machine learning engineers, there's AI, a lot of ML ops, UX designer, cyber security expert. There's a lot and a lot of roles within software engineering. So whenever you've done or you have a background in software engineering or in information technology, and then you're wondering which role can I pick, so there's a lot of items here in which just broadens up your IT areas that you can specialize in a way that you can't really lack something that you're interested about. You could be interested in a lot of items to do with gaming and stuff like that, to do with like DevOps. You see, there's a lot of items within it. Cloud engineer, there's a lot of roles. And now today I just wanted to unlock her in terms of she was locked in between trying to be a front-end engineer, and then you're stuck in between technologies. You find out that you've started already learning on how to do websites and apps and stuff, and then you're locked into technology. Today there are a million technologies, and it doesn't mean that if we have a million technologies to do or a million ways to do a stuff, you need to know all those ways. You just need to understand one way of killing a rat, in simple terms. So what I want to show you today is to unlock you as a front-end engineer. I'll go through all these roles, but for today the focus of this video is just unlocking the front-end engineers in the house who are lost within the technology stack. They are lost within what needs to be done. So let's get started into it. I'll take just a few minutes to just explain, and then you'll get unlocked pretty easily. So in here you can see, as a front-end developer, I stumbled across this site where I was trying to look for the better ways to explain or better ways to give a roadmap on each development sector. I'll be in the nearest future, I'll be doing these tutorials with you. I'll just be picking up a random stack which I'm interested in, or rather which my audience will be interested in, and then we learn together. I'll just pick a new stuff and then we learn together. We take a month of hands-on skills on daily basis until we complete that stack. So for now, in front-end development has a lot of items. So as you can see from here, we have there's personal recommendation from the site, but also I'll give you my personal recommendation and also alternative options. So where do you start as a front-end software engineer? So there we go. There are things that you need to understand as a front-end engineer before even you try to do anything. First, you need to understand you're entering into technology. Entering into technology, there are those basic items that you need to understand. There are those basic stuff that you need to have as a skill set before you begin your journey. So for example, here in front-end, you'll need at least to understand something to do with internet, because either way, the system that you will be creating, or rather the system that you'll be developing, will be used across the internet or across the wires, that is. So In internet, you need to understand how internet works. That's the first item that you need to really get a grasp of. How do internet work, and how do we share information via the internet? Understand the various communication protocols, like understand HTTP, what is HTTP, and what other available protocols are there of communication via the internet. Then understand things that like domain name. What is a domain name? How do I acquire one? How do I register my domain, for example? Understand things to do with DNS, the domain name servers and stuff. Just get some knowledge, or rather those are things that you can easily Google across, or maybe ask AI for some items, and then they'll guide you on at least what this is. And then what is hosting, how later on you'll need to host your app. If you're a front-end engineer, at least is a good thing for you to have this basic understanding of what is hosting and how do we host our app. And then understand the different browsers and how they work, how they get to relay information from one point to the other. Those are just basic recommendation if you're really a beginner or a newbie in internet stuff. Then after that, the first thing that you need to get is HTML. That is, you can't avoid HTML either way, because there's a lot of programming stuff and front-end stuff that revolve around XML and HTML. So this one is a must, or is a mandatory that you start from HTML. It's something that you can learn within a day or two and get a grasp of it. Then we go to CSS. You need at least to understand the cascading styling. This is where now you learn how to put the colors around your website, put the styling, put the measurements, how you animate your website, the various action, how they react and stuff like that. Majorly to do with now the UI of the item that you'll be creating, be it a website, be it a mobile app. At least you'll need to understand that. One more fundamental item that has come up is JavaScript. Also, you need to be very good, or rather understand JavaScript and how it works. You cannot avoid it either way. If you're a front-end engineer, you'll need to at least have a good grasp of JavaScript. A lot of time it will unlock you majorly in a lot of items, or in a lot of animations, and in a lot of customization of your UI. So after that, we don't need to create our code, and then along the process we have lost our code for some reasons, or maybe now we need to start again because maybe we lost power, we lost our machine, just crashed, our hard drive just crashed, and then you need now to repeat your entire stuff. So one major item which is a must also after that is just understanding the version control. In this case, we look at Git is the most popular one that is used across so many companies, and it has a lot of consumer base. So Git will help you now control your versions in terms of your coding. After some process, after doing some stuff, now you need to save it somewhere. So in here, instead of just having it in your local machine, saved in your local laptop or desktop, you just now be pushing this junk of source code that you have generated. You just be pushing it into a version control. You can decide or pick a version control a system of your choice. GitHub, GitLab, there's Bitbucket. There's a lot of these VCS hosting that you can pick from, and which will help you to manage your source code and versioning. After that, the next item that you need to learn is the package managers. Now this one will be biased on the language that you want to learn, but I really recommend you to understand two of these. First is understand NPM, Node Package Manager, and also in that line understand Yarn. Know how. So a package manager, this one also you can tap on these to understand more about a package. That's the good thing about this website. That's why I'll not go in deeper into them. You can just find it, and then once you want to understand what package managers are, you can read them across here. They are basically items that I use to, or rather, it's an automated way of installing packages, or maybe maintaining your updates, and also maintaining your dependency within your application. So one major one is you can learn things like Gradle and stuff as you become an expert in various specialization. But for front-end development, initially I'll advise you at least to understand something on npm and also understand something on yarn. That will really help you as a front-end engineer, because a lot of front-end languages lie within the two. The other ones is good to have if you understand them well and good. So have one package manager, and probably for me I'll prefer these two, npm and yarn. Understand the two, how they work, how you download packages, how you manage those dependencies within a project that we'll be creating next. So after that, there are frameworks now. The issue, or rather the advantages of framework is it gets us going very quickly. It has a bootstrap of every item that we need, so that we don't do the initial the initial core, or rather the initial or coding of the initial items. So our framework will give you some items like buttons, some components which are already there that you just need to run through with them. So in this CSS framework, there are a number of them, like Bootstrap, there's Tailwind, there's a number of items. Now according to your preference, there's even Material UI and stuff, but according to your preference, I'll prefer also Tailwind, but according to your preference, you can just check on the look and feel, depending also on the product that you want to create, and then pick a nice one. All of them works the same. A button is a button, only semantics and some finer syntax within their opening and closing attributes. That's what will be basically changing. Yeah, so now from there, the good thing about this also, you have some, after some progress, let's say you have learned HTML, CSS and JavaScript, then you can pick some beginner projects in here. You can go to some of the beginner projects here and maybe choose something that you can do. Let me know the one that you picked, and let me see the final product, at least which you have learned through. Pick one of these ones and then try them out, do as a project, like single page CV. You can do your website for your CV, and then once you're done with that, at least it will help you sink in. The good thing about programming is getting it done. Don't be in this hell of tutorials whereby you're just watching a number or 1,000 and tons of tutorials, or gigabytes of tutorials, and then you don't get to practice them. So I'll prefer you in this roadmap, you just go from here. First step after this, pick a project, then do one project at that level, intermediate level, in that beginner level, and then when you get here whereby you've understood some CSS frameworks like Tailwind and stuff, then do an intermediate project also, to just make sure that whatever you've learned here has sunk in. So I'll not be doing front-end development, because for front-end, back-end and full stack at least I'm familiar with, but I'll be picking one very gray area, like let's say I'll pick something like data analyst, and then we'll try to run through to see if we can go from 0 to hero within the same. I'll be learning with you. I learn as we teach each other, or rather we exchange ideas and go through it. It will be an interesting one. It will just spend some few hours of your day, like let's say a maximum of 2 hours a day, to just run through that. So after that, we have, you need now to understand, I told you the frameworks will help us really sprint through a project very quickly, in terms of we can now roll out an MVP within the shortest time possible, say 2 weeks or within a sprint. And then that will now, that's the essence of having framework and the importance of learning frameworks. So in the front-end framework, we have a lot. The leading one is React, of course. I'm not vying for them, but I think React is a good one to go, made by Facebook. These frameworks, you can pick one. For me, I started with Vue.js. So you can learn one, you can learn multiple, according to how much you can have in your mind, or rather how much power you have in terms of learning a lot of stuffs, and plus the time that you have and your role. You can learn a number of them. No harm. You just be getting more and more. It will get more interesting, and also you'll get more vast fast in terms of this. So the first one is React. You can learn React, you can learn Vue.js, you can do Angular, you can learn there are a number of tons and tons of frameworks that you can learn. All these are based on JavaScript, and so the first three will be my main focus, where you'll need to pick one probably, and we'll learn through. So I've learned React and Vue, but we can do Angular together from beginner, from zero to hero, and try to roll it out. So Angular is for Google, and now there's a very sweet test within Vue.js which gives you some taste of React and some taste of Angular, like just some good poj around it. Yeah, so after we learn that framework, you'll also, it's good to know this one, I'll put it as good to know in linters and formatters for the codes, in controlling the quality and standard of your code. So you can learn stuff like Biomi, Prettier, and ESLint. So those ones will help you in terms of formatting your front-end code, so that your codes are not just all over. It will help you format them in a very right way to make them just easy to read, and also to ensure that there is no dead code within your code base. Then out of that, we have module bundles that you need also. You can easily check them out, but I'll prefer, once you're a pro in terms of the framework, then that's when now you can go deeper into learning those module bundles. There are other items that are rolled out, or rather plugins and libraries that are shipped out as bundles. So you will need to learn those bundlers that will bootstrap now the dependency. So this is like frameworks of dependencies. So that one will help you, like Vite. It will come up already. It will boot up your app with a lot of libraries already bootstrapped to give you a better experience. So there's a number of them, but for me, I'll prefer you just learn Vite on that. And in your journey right now, if you have the shortest time possible, you can also, that one you can just brush it off. Don't go much deeper into them and how they work or how to develop some of them. And then there's testing also. These days we usually do test-driven development, logic-driven. There's a lot of testing that is required within front ends these days, to just ensure that things work, or maybe we have captured all the test cases, so that we are not ambushed in prod, so that when you go into production, you don't find items which are breaking out on production, getting items which are not well integrated in production. So this stuff, or you find a button that is not working in production. To avoid that and to have a very clean and neat shipment, you need to at least have to understand how you can test your front-end code. So for this one, there's Vitest, there's Jest, there's Playwright, there's Cypress. I'll prefer Cypress on my end. Majorly if you're doing things like Angular, it will really give you a nice experience. Vitest and Jest also, they're nice. In case you're doing React, Jest is one best one, or rather one item that you really need to understand. So that's it. Once you know to write some tests, you can start with just a login page. Do a login page or authentication pages, like login, register password or register account, and then forgot password and stuff like that, and then try to test them out. There's those automated tests that once you roll them out, like Cypress, it will just do all that testing for you as you watch and see what can fail and what is not failing. After that, that's the next up to there. Now we need to do an intermediate project. Just do a project, maybe authorization project. Just do a login and maybe one page application that maybe you log in and see a number of students or user or number of employees, and then that's enough. Make sure you do it in either pick one framework and then just curate and do that one. And then in the next step, now that we are entering in the next step at this point, whereby we need now to do advanced project. So this one also, you can pick ideas from here, where by now you're out of intermediate, now you're becoming an expert. So in this stage, there are items also that you need now to dig deeper into and to understand. So for example, you need now to understand how APIs work in terms of the web APIs. APIs, application programming interfaces. You just need to know how different APIs are made and which technologies are there, like REST and SOAP for the APIs. Just understand the two of those. It will give you a better view of how APIs work or how they're supposed to be work. And this one will also help you integrate now your front end to a back end or a database somewhere. So up to there, you're doing just static website, but now here you can now start to do now real application, or rather application that is dynamic and connecting to the backend. So after learning APIs, because backend developers will usually ship to you APIs, and then now it's your work now to integrate the APIs and see how they're working. So learn web security around that, so that when you're doing authorization, you're doing a standard one, you're doing an authorization that is up to the current secure standard that we're having. Also learn stuff to do with SSRs. This one you learn through different technologies like React Router. This one now helps you majorly to do stuffs like a stateful application, or rather application that you might now need to manipulation of data on the front end basically. So you pick your data from an API and then you need to play around with data. For example, a user will need to show me the user image and stuff like that, store for me the username, call me some fine name, greet me, so to play with that information within your DOM or within your website or your static website. Now you'll need to understand these kind of manipulation items which are there. So in this, the good thing about this, you can tap on it and read through it to understand how this one works. So in any of these items that you need, just pick one, just learn one and go, and then you'll combine from top down. So in here now, these one are advanced levels of front-end development, which you can just learn. Let me quickly touch something on this. So on this one, I'll prefer Next.js. Just understand that you know something on that. Also Next is good. Also you can pick either Next or Next. This for Vue, this is for React. You can pick one of those. And then type checkers like TypeScript is very important. You can pick TypeScript. For that case, it will really help you write some standard and quality source code. So just make sure that you this one is type specific, or rather type. It's really hard on doing the right thing. Doing the right variable types, doing the right data types within your source code. So it's very important also as you in your quest to do some quality coding, or rather some quality softwares. Then in that, the next thing that you need to learn is now on design systems, that is data structures and algorithms and stuffs like that. You just need to have some bit of it. A lot of it will be intensively used on the backend. But then in deployment, now you need to know where you're deploying your app. For example, you can deploy your static page on GitHub Pages. You can do Vercel, you can do Netlify, you can do Cloudflare, you can do Railway, Render, and stuff like that. So just know that these things you need to know where to now you're deploying your front-end application. And then now to learn about the performance of your front end, also you need to check out things like that. We don't want to do an app or do a website that crashes our Chrome or crashes our Internet Explorer, or rather just crashes our browser in terms of memory usage and in terms of using a lot of memory, or taking resources away from our computer. We don't want that to happen. So in terms of performance, just learn on how these tools work. Dev tools are there for all the programming frameworks that you're picking, like React and Angular. They have all of those dev tools. So learn how you're doing cache, how you're caching your data, and how the number of data that you're storing within the browser, because because a lot, you'll find that depending on your users, a lot of devices don't have a lot of resources. Like you'll find a device with only 1 or 2 GBs of RAM, so you don't really need an app to make your application heavy on the usage of those resources. You can chunk them through, use limited resources within some limited step, and then destroy those packages or packets once you're on to the next step, to just make sure that you're optimally using the resources, or rather the resources of that device that your application will be running within. In terms of accessibility, we'll go to make sure that your app is accessible. You need to learn some web components, how to do the HTML templates, custom elements, shadow DOM, and stuff like that. Just learn that. That's, by the way, but for expert reasons, you can just go deeper into that. Along with that, you can learn GraphQL. That will help you in terms of now, if you're having GraphQL as your means of receiving the APIs and stuff like that, you need to know on how you can consume them, and then do maybe your web application, or rather your single page application and stuff like that. Also, that one is very important. If you're aspiring to be a mobile developer, you'll need at least to have some bit of that. Progressive web applications, now that's the recent technology whereby you need to understand how you doing your website. These days the website should be very seamless in terms of, once I start clicking on your website, I need to be to have a very nice transition from one page or one item to the other. So it should be very progressive as possible. And then after, now you learn how to make a website, or to make that web app very progressive, you need now to go into mobile app development. In this one, I really prefer React Native if you've done JavaScript or JavaScript front end, because that one will be very easy for you to launch up an app within some few weeks of learning. After that, you'll need to also, you can decide to pick Flutter, Ionic, and stuff like that. Those are, they can do for you progressive web application that can run on, either is cross-platform, in terms of it can run on a laptop. Once you go to a smaller device like a tablet, it will still run the same way. Once you go to now a mobile app, it can still work as an app within the mobile app itself. Then out of that, now if you want to go hardcore, or rather to go deeper into, now I'm a mobile developer, then you can pick now those native languages like Kotlin. You can pick it, but that is if you have a background in Java. You can pick it up that and maybe understand that. After that, you can also do things like Ionic and React Native can still help you do desktop application, but they very much prefer these items like Electrons, Tauri, and Flutter. You can still do desktop application within the same. So that means with one source code, you can really control all these. You can have a web application, you can have a mobile application, and still you can have a desktop application, so that it's used across different devices. And then out of that, you'll be in very much space. So that's all about front-end engineering and being a front-end developer. Let me know where you're stuck, or in which technology stack were you lost in, so that you lost interest in becoming a front-end developer. This is not only for those people aspiring to be developers, but also those people in business, that you at least need to understand what happens behind the hood in a very easy way, so that even if you have developers you have employed a number of developers and you want to manage them, you can't really manage them if you don't know what happens under the hood. So that also you can advise your hiring in terms of whom do I need to hire in this particular stage of my project. And then you'll understand the different roles within software engineering. You'll know, as a front-end developer, if I get two of them, if I hire one who knows React, I can hire one who knows these other items, maybe mobile development and stuff like that, so that you can balance out that resource to ensure you have the maximum or the optimum value out of software engineers. Understanding this one as a businessman also will help engineers to work best with you, and also it will enable you to be to appreciate the work that they are doing on a very on everyday basis. So out of these, I'll be going through some other roadmaps so that we can just still understand. Yet to begin the hands-on skills, but we'll begin that soon so that we can code together and become very good and standard software engineering. More so in East Africa, even East Africa, Asia countries, better for you because you're close and you can really do a lot of stuff together. Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe for you to get more of this content, but let me see in the comment section what you want to learn next, what you want to hear next, what you want to understand, maybe where you are stuck. Let's share our experiences. Through that we'll learn together and we'll be able to move from one point or rather unlock ourselves. One thing about software engineering, it's a very lonely field that you don't need to really stay alone and do stuffs alone. You need to talk to people to unlock you at some point so that you don't find yourself in a very deep hole or rather messed up within your own craft. So let's pick it up. Let's hear from the comment section. I'll be glad to answer from to hear from you and to answer your question. So up to there, meet you in the next tutorial. Peace.